12 students, 12,000 miles.
Talk about a cross-country trip to remember.
Meet the college students on a mission across America.
They've hit the road on this veggie-powered bus, and we're gonna catch up with them.
Eco Company
Starts now.
Hi gang, thanks for joining us on Eco Company. I'm Brendan.
And I'm Jessica. So, imagine taking a trip across the country with 11 of your friends.
And what if that trip was on this? They call it the Big Green Bus.
Sounds like quite a trip, and it's one that a group of college students are taking to get people to go green.
Let's go meet the crew.
It's a cross-country journey of a lifetime. 12 college students headed out on the open road, and not just to sightsee.
The Big Green Bus's mission is to inspire people across the country to get involved in their local communities and learn about what ways they're harming or helping the environment and how they can become bigger helpers.
The Big Green Bus is an environmental model of sustainability on 6 wheels, and it's crewed by a team of eco-minded students from Dartmouth University.
Just in love with the idea of being able to connect with people across the nation like this.
It was just like the coolest thing I'd ever seen.
The nonprofit program is run entirely by students, and they're divided into 5 teams: logistics, PR, fundraising, bus mechanics, and education.
Our workshops are on food, on waste, on fuel, on energy, and finally on this concept of sustainability.
As you can imagine, it takes months to plan stops, coordinate materials, and get everything ready for the 12,000-mile trip.
Really, like, not just a summer deal. This is a full, really intensive work thing, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of work. it was like a job.
So who are some of these adventurous road trekkers? Maya Viavant, a biology major from Northern California, grew up with recycling bins around her. She manages the crew.
I came to the East Coast and realized that not everyone had grown up with the same sort of background as I had, and it just really opened up my eyes to a lot of the challenges that the United States was facing in terms of fuel and trash and long-term energy supply.
Kate DeRushy, one of the drivers, calls Vermont home.
When I was younger, I was excited about recycling and those sorts of kind of surface issues, and now I see it as not only important for like negotiating the balance in the way people live with the environment, but also I think it's pretty exciting economically, and as someone who's entering the job market, that's clearly where a lot of the jobs are.
Social media guru Sam Parker hails from the Midwest.
So I worked all year with our education team on our message, what we wanted to get across this year in terms of community action, and I also helped create a lot of the pamphlets and stuff on the website that you see.
Kelly McGlinchey is a Long Island New Yorker who always knew she wanted in.
I actually applied my freshman and junior year and didn't get on the bus crew. It's a very competitive process, and then applied again my senior year. I literally just didn't give up. Every chance that I could, I applied.
Then there's Remy Franklin, who handles PR and some bus mechanics too.
For me, sustainability is about people, and it's about improving livelihoods and communities around the country, around the world.
Everyone plans to stop in their hometown, which for Remy meant Taos, New Mexico.
We visited the Earth Ships, which is a really cool sustainable building sort of initiative out in Taos, building houses out of old recyclable materials.
Wow.
And these are homes that are off the grid. They have no energy input into the house, so they're using solar and then catching all their own water.
In Oakland, California, Maya organized the visit to an urban garden to help with some composting.
We think sustainability is something that applies to everyone, everywhere, all the time. No one can be excluded from this kind of revolution that's happening because the environment affects all of us.
So from gardening and food waste to energy and sustainable building, they're tackling it all.
So we'll also give sort of general tours. We like to really get people to interact and question their own lifestyles and question our lifestyle and get conversations going.
Nick Pavlis and Ari Cobell love the work they're doing.
And one of the things about the bus is that we kind of do our own thing, have our events, and we really like when people are like, hey, can you tell me what you guys are doing?
We have this big bus that's our billboard, and when they see us doing this work and we feel good about doing this work, we're hoping that more people get involved in this sort of thing.
We'll have people like write on our Facebook that they saw us and they were excited to see us driving by.
Crew member Mike Swartz is a Vermont native who spends as much time outdoors as he can. So we had to ask him the big question.
What's it like being on the bus with 11 other kids for 3 months?
It's been a lot of fun so far. You know, we occasionally have little disagreements about dishwashing or things like that, but generally we all get along really well.
That means no pillow fights either. In fact, most don't sleep on board. They camp in places like Yosemite or stay with family or alumni group friends along the road.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade our team for the world.
You're becoming a good kind of community that
Yeah.
can really support each other, which
Yeah.
is wonderful for
Exactly.
such a long and can be at times stressful trip.
What better way could there be to put green living to practice?
For the people and by the people. And I think that's a good catchphrase for our perspective on sustainability. I love the bus, it's great. I'm having the best summer, so.
This is no ordinary bus.
The Big Green Bus runs on biofuel and cooking oil.
And even processes some on board.
It's like the car from the movie Back to the Future.
Let's go find out how it works.
Well, hey guys, welcome to the Big Green Bus.
Oh, well, thanks for having us, Ari.
Definitely.
So this is a pretty cool bus, and I hear you have a really interesting fuel system going on. Is it possible we could see that?
Definitely, yeah, I'll take you right over. We're running on waste vegetable oil.
All right.
So what do we mean by veggie oil? Why, we're talking about this stuff, what's left over in the frying pan. Ari Capel tells us how the process works.
Inside of what used to be the luggage bays, we now hold the filters for our vegetable oil system. And I'm gonna pull this out all the way.
The bus gets its supply of waste veggie oil from restaurants along the route. And as you can imagine, they produce a lot of it.
We'll pull up right behind a restaurant. We'll take this PVC pipe here, and this is the end of our filter system. And we'll put this right down inside that tank of vegetable oil. And then we'll start pumping it through. We have a switch right here.
The oil goes through a special multi-filtering process that cleans it up before it's good to go.
These are 4-cylinder filters, and basically what these guys do is they'll take out all the food particles and a little bit of the water to make it so that our fuel is viable to run through the engine. It's just getting it to that really pure, clear liquid that we really want. And so this filter is very similar to actually a pool filter, and this is what we have inside of there. This is one of our replacements.
It's also heated and cooled in what's called a V-tank to remove any remaining gunk.
Since the water and particles are heavier than the actual oil, those will actually settle to the bottom, and then by opening this red lever here, we can actually leak it out. And that's what we're doing here. You can kind of see some of the particles settled to the bottom here. This was leaked out.
Geez, it's really like a chemistry experiment up in here.
Exactly.
This is chemistry that works, and the result is liquid gold.
Once it's in here, it's ready to go to the engine.
So, why use biofuel at all? Well, it's less harmful to the environment than fossil fuel burning petroleum. It doesn't produce any sulfur and produces 78% less carbon dioxide.
It really allows us to run on this recycled fuel, lower our carbon footprint, and talk to people about this really cool system that is still really, viable if someone's willing to put in the effort.
And do you save money through all this on gas?
The vegetable oil is free.
Ari and the other mechanics keep the system going, and it's a new job for most.
The most mechanics I had done before this was bike mechanics, and which I'm pretty good at, but bus is a little bit different, obviously.
We do have a lot of knowledge surrounding our vegetable oil system. It's a lot of plumbing, a lot of electric work, and things have gone wrong.
Inside the bus, it's as green as they come too. The bus is retrofitted with sustainable materials from top to bottom.
Well, welcome aboard the bus. Not only is this bus a model of alternative energy and sustainable transportation, but also the inside of this bus is modeled as kind of a sustainable living center, as a household, one might say.
First, there's how they get their power.
And what we have going on top is our solar panel system, and that is the energy we need to live inside this bus. All of the electronics that you see around, these computers, there's a fridge in the back, we have complex fluorescent lights that are lighting the entire inside.
Even electric sockets along the side get their juice from the sun, and crew member Kate DeRushy points out it saves more than just energy.
The cool thing about sustainability and the thing that we're talking about now is that everyone usually can get on board in some respect because it's about like saving money a lot of times and everyone can get behind that. So, insulating your house, recycling in certain cities where it costs less to recycle, changing your light bulbs so your electricity bill drops, those sorts of things everyone can get behind.
The sustainability doesn't stop there. These countertops are made of bamboo, and that's important because bamboo can grow up to 3 feet a day in the right conditions.
That allows us to get these big countertops that, operate just as good as any other countertop in a way that doesn't lead to major deforestation in the way that hardwoods might.
Even what we're standing on is earth-friendly too.
These wood floors, not necessarily harvested in the most sustainable manner, but they're recycled. And what we always say is it's better to reuse and recycle than it is to create a new source, because it always has an energy input. And so these floors are actually from a house in Georgia that was being torn down.
So everything inside the Big Green Bus is lighter living on the planet, right down to the last thought out detail.
We have the bark from a tree that was actually being cut down on our campus.
It's all part of the bigger picture these guys are trying to snap. And it's that going green isn't all work. It can save you money and also be fun too.
You can't talk about summer without talking about camp.
Up next, the Big Green Bus meets up with kids who can't get enough of the outdoors.
More Eco Company is straight ahead. If you've been to summer camp, you know what to expect.
And it's probably not a Big Green Bus pulling onto the scene.
Jessica went along for a ride as it made a surprise visit to some camp kids in Northern California.
Who's ready to see the Big Green Bus?
It's anything but an average day at summer camp for these kids.
Hey guys, how's it going?
They're getting a visit from the Big Green Bus crew.
All right guys, so we're gonna talk about the fuel that our bus runs on. Does anybody know what fuel that is? Oil. What kind of oil? Vegetable oil? Yeah.
The kids are part of the We Lead Ours Youth Leadership Program. It's a nonprofit group headed up in part by director Dwayne Akins.
And the idea is just pretty much to expose youth to different things going on in their community, really in their backyards.
And today, that means the Big Green Bus, because it's making a stop in Oakland, California.
Were the kids excited to hear that the Big Green Bus was coming here?
Yeah, when I said we have a special guest on Friday, and they said, who? I said, well, we have the Big Green Bus coming out. That questions went like, what's the Big Green Bus? What's the Big Green Bus?
The Dartmouth College students who are traveling across country in this thing can't wait to show their green machine off. They've even brought some creepy crawlers along.
We had workshops with kids today. We had 3 different stations. I was on the compost and waste workshop. There was a energy and food workshop, and then there was a workshop on fuels, which is, we talked about the bus, how we run on waste vegetable oil.
So we're using oil made out of plants instead of oil drilled out of the ground. Basically, we pump it through, we put it in these tanks, and it goes into our engine, just like that.
The kids get to check things out front and center.
Oh
yeah, it's thick. It's thick. Meanwhile, inside the bus,
all the way to the left. Go, go, go.
It's a crash course on other forms of energy.
So we don't like burning coal on the bus because we really care about the earth, we care about plants, we care about trees, we care about each other. We don't want nasty smoke in our lungs.
So if the bus isn't using fossil fuels to power up, what is it using? A look on the roof will give you your answer.
Yeah, solar power that goes through wires and brings us our electricity. Yeah, those are all wires that are powered by solar panels on our roof.
Energy from the sun powers everything. The CFL lights, refrigerator, computer monitors, and even the electric outlets.
Does the sun produce nasty black smoke? No.
The only lights powered by the bus's engine are the headlights.
What do you think about the Big Green Bus? What I think about the Big Green Bus is it's teaching me like to recycle more and try not to use more electricity and don't take long showers. And after you're done, when you go to bed, turn off the lights.
I think the Big Green Bus is awesome because inside we got to learn about how the energy and the solar.
I remember in preschool, that was the first time that I heard about things like recycling, and made a big impression on me then. So it's cool to talk to kids.
Even the adults get something out of it too.
For me, the coolest part was hearing about the vegetable oil and how the bus is powered through the vegetable oil.
Akins hopes he can get a waste oil program of his own going, and that the We Lead Ours kids are inspired by what they've seen and heard.
And being able to allow them to take part in something like this and then practice the things that they learn, it's really impactful, and it really defines our leadership piece to the organization.
Thank you, Big Green Bus!
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Big Green.
So where's the Big Green Bus stopping next?
Guess you're gonna have to stay tuned to find out.
More Eco Company is coming up.
So what's one thing to think about when on the road? What to bring to munch on, right? Well, it helps to make a pit stop at a local farm, and Brandon made the pit stop with them.
The Big Green Bus is all about community, and today they're at City Slickers Farm in Oakland. Let's go see what they're doing.
It's a land of giant zucchinis, hefty tomatoes, and larger-than-life bloom. It's pretty clear that whatever they're doing on this farm, they've got the right idea.
So where are we today?
We're at City Slickers Farm in Oakland.
City Slicker Farms is a non-profit organization that runs several farms in and around Oakland, California.
Urban gardens are really cool because they provide fresh fruits and vegetables in areas that otherwise might not have them easily accessible.
Some people call areas like this a food desert.
That's basically an area that doesn't have access to fresh produce.
But that's all changing here, thanks to City Slicker Farms. Over the past decade, it's produced thousands of pounds of pesticide-free food for the surrounding community.
I see people who I know are on limited income, and we can provide organic produce to people.
But you can't grow a garden like this alone. It takes a host of volunteers and assistants, like Joseph Davis, to keep the fresh veggies coming.
City Slicker Farms, that's our mission, is to get fresh organic produce into the mouths and bodies of the people of West Oakland in particular.
The most in-demand items.
We grow a lot of greens, collard greens, kale, chard. We also grow root crops like beets and carrots.
Not to mention huge tomatoes, and of course, zucchini. The community can take its pick every Saturday at the City Slicker Farm stand.
The thing that I like the most is you get into conversations with people about the food, some of the nutritional benefits of, fresh greens.
The produce is sold on a sliding scale, which means you pay only what you're able to pay. No one is turned away.
Our philosophy is, since we want to get food into the hands and bodies of the people of the community, money is not the object. We've got organic produce, and if you don't have any money this week, but you want, some collard greens and some beets, we'll provide them for you.
The mission is exactly what the Big Green Bus crew is all about.
We're all about inspiring people to become involved in local service that furthers the community cohesion and also sustains a future for communities.
Today, Remy, Maya, and the gang are pitching in to help out.
I'm adjusting the water timers on all the plants, so I'm making sure that all the plants are getting fed or getting watered 5 times a week.
City Slicker Farms uses the bio-intensive method to grow crops. That means they grow as much food as they can in a small area of land while improving the soil. So that takes a lot of this stuff.
So I was just turning compost over there, and we were adding some compost they got from a restaurant nearby that grows mushrooms, trying to turn it into good soil.
Compost is organic matter, like food waste, that's been decomposed over time and used in place of traditional fertilizer. City Slicker staffers like Davis know that volunteer help like this is a must if you're going to keep a project like this going.
If they don't have either some kind of internship program or volunteers, they're never going to make it.
It's a perfect fit for the crew, because eating locally grown food is important to them too.
We all wrote sort of mission statements, and one of mine was focused on food and a goal that I wanted to try to eat vegan this summer, as well as to eat locally sourced food as much as possible.
Personally, I wanted to sort of learn more about the food system and how I could eat sustainably, so I'm trying to eat less meat, more vegan food.
So from the soil to what's picked straight off the vine, this garden's a place where everybody wins.
I've seen people go from, they didn't know chard from kale, from a beet, weren't quite sure when anything was, edible, to now where they can tell me what they want.
It's farms like this that really allow community members the opportunity to understand the origins of their food and then also have access to affordable, healthful food.
Healthy food meant for everyone's table.
That wraps up our adventure on Eco Company. Thanks for watching us.
We hope you enjoyed meeting the crew and traveling with the Dartmouth Big Green Bus.
Plus, you can all see just how easy it is to get communities involved in helping the planet.
As always, you too can be a part of the solution. We'll see you next time
On Eco Company.